Elon Musk may have prevented World War III. Here's a clip.
I do want to talk about this story, though. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be Donald Trump, nor will it be Joe Biden. The man who will save this world is Elon Musk. I'm being facetious. That's kind of the joke, but I'm also only half joking.
Online
Aside from
trolls,
Elon challenging the narrative machine of the ADL, calling out corrupt politicians, securing, not perfectly, but helping people bring back free expression on social media, Elon Musk, it is being reported now, averted World War III and may have saved the planet from nuclear annihilation. The probability of that being the circumstance is probably very, very low, but it just sounds fun, so I want to say it. The story is actually really simple. We have this from the Washington Post. Elon Musk cut internet to Ukraine's military as it was attacking Russian fleet. So the first story that comes out is that while this major counteroffensive was underway, Elon Musk shuts down Starlink, cutting their communications, stopping the offensive. Elon Musk responded, saying there was an emergency request from government authorities to activate Starlink all the way to Sevastopol. The obvious intent being to sink most of the Russian fleet at anchor. If I had agreed to their request, then SpaceX would be explicitly complicit in a major act of war and conflict escalation.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. He's also, if you think about it, SpaceX is a government contractor. So if he did that, the implications are obvious, right?
I wonder if wrong article. If Ukraine sank Russia's Black Sea fleet using SpaceX, using U.S. weapons and intelligence, would Russia have dramatically escalated the conflict at the time? There's
probably not, in my opinion, but it's a potential.
A possibility it may have been the case. I don't know for sure, but Elon Musk refused to provide Starlink to be used by the Ukrainians in this counteroffensive.
Do you know SpaceX is a government contractor for NASA and everything? So, like with the whole thing recently about the Department of Justice going after Elon Musk, they're saying he's not hiring enough refugees. Well, he can't because they're technically part of the military, because they do missions with them and stuff. So if he would have done that, that'd be crazy. A government, they're going to put that all over Russian media. Sounds like a terrible idea.
They have single-handedly stopped a major escalation, which could have led to World War III.
Do you know what the size of the fleet was and the makeup of the fleet in Sevastopol at the time?
No, we do know that U.S. provided intelligence to Ukraine to sink their flagship. So I don't know.
That actually happened. That happened in the Black Sea.
That's
right.
right.
That happened already.
Yep. Ukraine used U.S. weapons and intelligence. And I think it's even unfair to say the U.S. sank the flagship of Russia's Black Sea fleet.
They definitely took
and
part
Ukraine
in
was
it.
intending to do more damage. And Elon Musk said, I'm not going to assist you with this. Could you imagine if he did? That's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds
He was
awful.
pretty open in the early days that he didn't want to be involved with the war. And I think he was going to send Starlink to Ukraine, and then they said no because they wouldn't do it under his terms or something. And then he was like, okay then. And they're like, actually, we need it. So then he sent it over there.
Yeah, and then he ended up, I thought he took it away because they were talking trash about him, but I don't know.
A long time ago.
I haven't stayed up on it.
Yeah.
He's trying to protect Earth until we can get off of it and go to Mars.
The men who built America were not politicians. They were businessmen.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I mean,
Facts.
in terms of the uniparty establishment machine, man, Elon Musk is running afoul. But it shows the decay of the uniparty power in that Elon Musk openly defies them, does not allow them to wage war using his infrastructure. This is unprecedented. If you look at Twitter before Elon, they gleefully gave the government anything they wanted. It kind of, I'm optimistic, man.
He's making me into a bigger fan.
Social media was part of the CIA.
I'm looking at a restoration of true American values of decentralization of power. And for the longest time, we had an authoritarian uniparty that did whatever it wanted, regardless of the Constitution. Now, you look at all of their devices, you look at the activist base, you look at the narrative machine, and they're failing across the board. People tweeting about how the ADL no longer has any power. They say, all these people who are criticizing us are white supremacists, and everyone laughs. No one cares anymore. They have been defanged.
It's kind of like the uniparty when
It's all become a joke. and they did it to themselves. You can only say someone's a white supremacist so many times and it not be true. What did they say about Larry Elder? He's the black face of white supremacy. When you start saying stuff like that, you've already lost. You know what I mean?
Parties go at it, creates an opportunity for a revolution. That's what happened with
two uniparties.
Yeah,
We don't need a revolution. Revolution's a bad word.
What happened with the American founding fathers is that there was a uniparty of the Brits and there was the uniparty of the French.
No, that is completely.
And they went at each other, and the result was a liberation.
They were totally different countries, though.
Yeah, but they were like two separate. Like they were monarch. They were monarch. They were literal uniparties. And now we have the American uniparty, the liberal economic order, and the Chinese Rus liberal. Or not liberal, but it's a uniparty.
I see what you're saying, but
and they're clashing in Ukraine. So now there's an opportunity for like businessmen to step in and create something new.
I see what you are saying, like the unilateral rule of the United States clashing with other authoritarians, but Russia may be aligned with China and BRICS and everything, but when you get to the global scale, it's not a uniparty. There's greater conflict between nations.
I suppose the CCP's uniparty and the British...
Uniparty refers to, in the United States, the Democrats and Republicans that are secretly aligned and pretend to be opposed to each other.
Yeah, well, the Chinese Communist Party is literally a uniparty that runs that country.
But the United States and China are not aligned, so it's not a global uniparty. It's
it's two uniparties going at each other. So that's why I think it's an opportunity for the private sector to be like, well, you guys quibble, we're going to create something functional. And you see Elon doing it in real time.
Maybe we should call it in the United States the former uniparty because they've lost too much power at this point. You know, look, I know that they're arresting and charging people and all that stuff, but they're really failing at it every step of the way. Their ability to influence is weakening drastically.
I just
every
watched
week.
Mehdi Hassan interview Vivek Ramaswamy, and there's lag. It's MSNBC 2023, and they still have lag in their video conference.
Well,
like,
it's always been
yo, bro, it has. Like, I use Zoom, there's no lag. I use Skype, there's no lag. What the hell infrastructure is this archaic dinosaur of a media monolith using that there's still freaking lag and they can't have a...
Sometimes they can't even figure out stereo and mono. Like, I hear it in one ear and like...
Do you guys remember when CNN did the satellite interview from the same parking lot?
Yeah.
Two people in the same parking lot, and they did a satellite interview as if they were different places.
So the reason I brought up lag and MSNBC is because I think that's just evidence of what you're saying, that the uniparty function is crumbling. They're just so behind the times.
Oh, the ratings are in the gutter. Their influence is down, is almost gone. The fact that Elon bought Twitter and turned it into X is a huge example of this. They were using Twitter as a weapon to spy on people, to control and to influence, and now they've lost it. It's remarkable how much they keep losing.
Yeah,
which
if
is
you get
why
a
they're getting
base
desperate, trying to
businessman.
remove Trump from the ballot and have him.
It is really interesting if you think about it. How many businessmen are actually based? There's like none. Elon Musk, Donald Trump. How, you know, most of the richest people in the world, like Bill Gates and people like that, Warren Buffett, George Soros. It's interesting. You would think there'd be more people like this, but most rich people just don't have control. That's what's awesome about capitalism. All these leftists talk trash about capitalism and it keeps the poor man poor. That's why you have some people that are based that are businessmen, right? Because or not. The capitalism is the reason why you have base businessmen, because they'll grow up poor and then they can still get rich. In a socialist society, nah, the government picks the winners and the losers. But yeah, you would think you'd have more. It's picking up though. It's really interesting.
Arrested because they know they're losing.
I'd like for the American government to win. I don't know if there's just one government.
Oh, no.
I'd like for the American people to win.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm on that team. You know what? I will say that we're
team.
winning. The American people are winning. When
The
Assange
American
is
government
freed,
sucks.
when we have Edward Snowden back in the U.S. without fear of him going to jail for a long time, when people like Ross Ulbricht are free, like I hear what you're saying and I want to believe it, but we're not there quite yet. We just sentenced a man to 22 years in prison, to Enrique Tarrio, which I don't agree with him, necessarily, but what did he do? He wasn't even in the Capitol building. Like, what are we doing here?
Agreement is entirely irrelevant. I'm not trying to to even discuss whether or not you agree actually blunts the point. It doesn't matter about
it does not matter. However, internet people will then be like, oh my God, you're a fan. I mean, I was already called, during my campaign, I took a picture with somebody and they were like,
revel in their contempt. Welcome their contempt.
I
Work
do,
for it.
absolutely.
That's hilarious.
But I'm just saying, I don't support the Proud Boys. However, you know what they've done to this guy is horrible.
Yep.
Absolutely
100%.
horrible. And if they can do it to him, they can do it to you, and that's the problem. If they're going to
They
come
can do it
after
to
people,
Donald
it's going to be
Trump.
people like us in this room. It's going to be people who are speaking out and saying things. And if they can put Enrique Tarrio, who 5 years ago, I didn't even know who the guy was. And all of a sudden, he deserves 22 years in prison.
It's crazy.
Well, it's going to.
They haven't done it to Trump yet, but they're trying to. If they can even, like, I want to say, like 20% of the population thinks that Trump's a criminal. If they could do it to him when he has this huge fan base of him going to all these stadiums and everything, if they could do it to him, yeah, they could definitely do it to you, and no one's going to have their back like Trump is going to have. Spending millions of dollars on legal teams. Who can afford that? Trump can, but can you? I definitely couldn't. So, yeah, if they could go after Trump and all this and all these people, yeah, they could do it to anybody. Scary.
Stay? Is that what it was?
He texted people to go do something. If I text you to go do something,
So
like, are you going to do it?
The defense said that he wasn't in contact with anyone that day. And apparently the prosecution and the media is reporting that he said, don't leave. But I don't know the context to which he said don't leave. Was it the day before they were like, hey, we're in D.C., what should we do? I was like, well, don't leave. And now they're making it seem like he was saying stay in the Capitol. The defense said he didn't contact them.
Who knows?
I will say,
It's also shady.
if it comes to the point where they begin going beyond the scope of, Owen Schroyer, who was on the ground, and they're saying his
Wild.
speech warrants a prison sentence. He was on the ground, and that's their pretext for the arrest. If they escalate to the point where they're coming after pundits, I would argue that out of anyone in this room, Ian's the first person they'd target.
Man,
You know why?
Because I got long hair, bro, and I'm a wizard.
This happened with when I was with Luke Rutkowski in Chicago, and the police we believe they planted drugs in the apartment we were staying at. They target people who are less likely to be able to muster up legal defense funds. So if they wanted to disrupt a show like this and make claims about rhetoric or inflammatory things, would they go after me? Well, that's probably a bad idea. It would create a huge PR press storm. It would create a huge backlash, generate tons of money, and it would create a huge legal fight. Would they go after Phil Labonte, multi-platinum recording artist? I mean, that could create a huge wave across the entertainment industry. Ian, on the other hand, you are the least likely out of anyone here to be able to muster up a strong legal defense. Granted, we would defend you. What I'm saying is, I don't think anyone's going to come and try and arrest you. I'm saying the target of who they go after is who can we get easily. Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys, most people don't know who he is. They're not going to look.
Yep.
They're waiting to go after Trump until they can build everything up on the ground, because they know a direct move against Trump is it makes him millions of dollars. It strengthens him. It builds his base.
Look
It's
at the
happening.
mugshot.
Yeah,
The
it's
mugshot.
literally
I heard.
happening. I've never been a Trump supporter, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I'm going for the political prisoner. Like, that's it.
So-
Who else?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes,
But
I do like
first,
Vivek. Also, however,
Whoops. But yeah, they built up Trump. Like I've said, I really got behind Trump. I liked Trump before, but I really super got behind him. And I was looking at other candidates. Dave Smith, I mention him a lot. Libertarian guy. He's on. He's pretty notable guy. I was like Dave Smith. I wanted him. He's like Ron Paul, younger Ron Paul. So I'm like, okay, awesome. I'm for Dave Smith. And then Trump got indicted, and then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, never mind.
is he going to be the nominee?
But
Probably
you
not.
look at January 6th,
Vivek,
and they go after people you've never heard of, that don't make the press, and you don't even know are in jail. And these people, try as they might, can't get the word out. There's too many of them. This is what they do, one at a time. Then they announce 2.5 years later that Owen Schroyer will be criminally charged. They're
insane.
starting from the bottom and moving upwards. It's very much like that
there's a
story
Drake
we talk
joke
about
there.
eBay. You know, when eBay was started, it was yellow, and they wanted to change the background to white, but everyone got mad, so they did it one step at a time over the course of a year. They don't want to come out immediately right after January 6th and say, Donald Trump, you're under arrest. It would create chaos. They got to go for the easier low-hanging fruit, which is lower-income people who are confused. And then what do? They go to this, 37-year-old woman who was walking around the Capitol waving a flag when everyone went in the building, and they say, you're going to go to prison for 8 years for a felony charge for terrorism, or you're going to write a letter saying Trump made you do it, and then we're going to say you can go home right now. Time served. And they've all. How many people have taken this deal?
How is it that any different to our regular justice system?
Well, no, but this is my point. My point is, if they go head to head with Trump, Trump rallies his base.
Sure.
If they weaken his base by getting his supporters to write letters saying Trump did this and ordered me to do it, and then use that for propaganda, knowing these people, no one will ever hear their names.
Also,
they're
think
not
of
going to be
how
in the news. They won't raise money.
It's also laid that base. Now that you've heard that all these people have been charged, if you're a layperson, you go to work every day, you got the kids, you got stuff going on, you're not really paying attention. You have no idea what these people have been charged with. You hear, I don't know how many people have been arrested. Now, all of a sudden, it's like an actual thing. It's like, well, all those people arrested, of course they had to have done something terrible.
Yep.
So it adds to that level of, they did something.
They get enough.
Of course, go for Trump because he's the orchestrator of all these people.
They get enough people to sign letters saying Trump ordered me to do it. Then they say, we have sworn witness testimony from 372 people saying Trump instructed them to do it.
Under duress, of course, but is that
Doesn't
mentioned
matter.
in the argument?
That it's part
The
of the
jury's not going to care.
Ultimately, my point is,
These juries they're getting, these leftist juries in that Trump case, do you think they're going to care, duress or not? They're just getting like, bleh. That grand jury, 19 people in Atlanta wanted to charge even more people. They're charging his lawyers and everything. So it's just like, people don't care. I had a comment on YouTube the other day. I was saying that I think the judge persuaded the jury to convince them to do this. And he's like, yeah, I agree. They were persuaded, but not by the judge, but by the evidence. This guy, it's like, go look into this stuff, dude. It's just like, if you go look into it, I actually thought that was kind of funny. But, if you go look into it, they're charging his lawyers for stuff, for giving him legal advice. That's the evidence to him. They don't care. Some people just won't look into it. He watched my video to the end, I guess, which I'm impressed by him for doing that, because it's like an 8-9 minute video, and I said that at the end. So I was like, oh, he actually watched the whole thing. That's pretty sick. But I don't know. He doesn't watch anyone else, I guess. I don't know why YouTube showed him my video or whatever, but I think it's really interesting that he said that. So maybe people are getting there. I don't know if YouTube would just show him other people that gave him more details on the thing. But I don't know. I said in the video that his lawyers were getting. So I guess some people just don't care. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, he was in the video. I said that they were charging his lawyers, so it must be nonsense. And he watched that far, and he still is just like, okay, that's just what I'm going to say. They were convinced by the evidence. It's like, aren't you worried about them taking your attorney to jail if they try to defend you? So then the attorney's not going to really want to defend you because they might go to jail? Sounds really scary to me.
They start going after personalities. Owen Schroyer, I think, proves this point. One, they have a pretext. He was on the Capitol grounds. Shouldn't have done it. Did you go to prison for 3 months? That's ridiculous. But they're using his speech. The speech is opening the door to targeting other personalities who are online. The next person we'll likely see charged is going to be someone who maybe has 100, 200,000 followers, subscribers, and they're going to say they advocated for, incited, and instructed people to commit a crime. I'm going to tell you right now, there were people on Twitter, on YouTube, and other social platforms before January 6th who posted videos advocating for people to engage in direct conflict in
really
DC.
Like violent
They're getting
conflict.
arrested.
Yep. No, and there's no question about it. I think these people, some of whom have instantly flipped and become total DeSantis supporters, probably flipped because they know.
Oh, it's like, why would they do that?
They're next in line. After the J6ers are on the ground, they're going to come out and say, you committed an act of sedition by making these videos advocating for insurrection against the United States government. Thanks for watching this clip from
that did it properly. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, all this stuff is crazy. They always get off topic on these videos. I only play the whole things because they do bring up interesting stuff, and I kind of get distracted. But it's the title of the segment is Elon Musk averted World War III. He probably really did. Yeah, it's crazy how businesses kind of have that power, and every other business they'll just go along with governments. He actually doesn't want this. He was talking trash about Ukraine. No, he wasn't talking trash, really. If you remember a while ago, he was saying, hey, we should end the war. And then Ukraine just like started talking trash to him. So he's like, fine. You don't want Starlink? And I thought he shut it off. I don't know. I like Elon how he does that, but it's kind of messed up at the same time. I like in Ukraine, but like how he was talking recently about getting rid of the block feature. And then he's like, I'm just going to block everyone. And if you don't like it, leave the platform. It's like, that's a little much. But I'm glad he like has a backbone like that. I guess you have to take the good with the bad. It's like how Trump is. A lot of people don't like how he what he says about people or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care. But a lot of people say, I'm starting to sound like Trump, but a lot of people say that, but I don't say it. Not me. I personally don't say it. But anyway, a lot of people say that about Trump, about how they don't like him, but he has good policies. No new wars, So that's how Elon is, in my opinion. He's not perfect, definitely far from it. But, he does some good stuff. And this was definitely one of them. Go in for this. They shouldn't be. And again, SpaceX is a contractor for the U.S. Could you imagine they're technically a military contractor because of rocketry, and then they do military missions to outer space? They launch satellites to outer space, military satellites. So it's just like, yeah, that's not going to look good. They're going to put it all over Chinese, Russian, all foreign media. U.S. contractor, supply, I'm surprised they don't do that already. They probably do, but would just be another one because of the intelligence. They probably do that with intelligence also. But then direct military thing like this, it would not look good. And then his business, it's his business. He doesn't want that look on him. He wants to go and probably do Russian satellites to space, right? It's just going to fund his business and get him to Mars quicker. It's a huge goal of his, too. Yep, and I just don't think he wants war. I think he hates war like normal people do. But when you get in government this long, it's really interesting. Like these military leaders, they've seen so much war, and they're just used to it. Yeah, it's messed up. I like business people like Elon Musk. This is the capitalist way so long ago, and the government's taken over so much in the last 100 years, ever since Woodrow Wilson, piece of garbage. In 1913, did the Federal Reserve and did the income tax and everything. Worst president. People say Biden's the worst president. No, he isn't. I would say Woodrow Wilson and then FDR and then probably Lyndon Johnson. Those people have just really messed it up. FDR, a lot of people don't know, had socialism in the country during World War II. That stuff is insane. They had these little price books, flippable price books that had every price of every popular item. And that was the law. And then if he put in strict restrictions from when factories could work, and they would go into the factory districts, the industrial districts, and bang down the doors if they found people working after like 10 p.m. or whatever it was. Yeah, it's insanity. So yeah, they're very bad people. But if like in the good old days back in the 1820s, it's been a long time, business people could stand up to the government. They probably could now. They just choose not to. Like, look at what Elon Musk does, So, yeah, it's really interesting. I hope in this new age of tech, you're probably going to get a lot of new money in there, which is awesome. Because then people that do get these companies can really, maneuver more. And like the social media, I don't know if it was with Twitter, but like Facebook and Google, the government gave them money, like deep money, like CIA contracts and stuff like that. But that's what happened with Elon Musk. I'm surprised he's more supportive of this. I think he just got rich and he's the richest guy in the world. And he's like, screw it. I'll just do what I want. I'm the richest guy in the world. And I'm a huge government asset. So what are you going to do to me? And I guess that is what's unique about Elon Musk is they need him to go to the moon and everything. So it's like, if you get rid of him, that's not going to really work out. You know what I mean? So they kind of need him, but then so he could just go against him. He's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. That could be the case why Elon Musk is doing this, where Zuckerberg and Google and everything, because Elon Musk kind of got money too, but that was kind of more direct. So Facebook, They got direct money from the CIA, and so did Google was kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting stuff about Google, but that would take a long time to explain all that. But with like what I'm referring to is like the contracts that they had, the contracts with CIA and Facebook. It's rumored like they just got totally funded by the CIA. So yeah, very interesting stuff. But what I meant about the SpaceX thing is SpaceX, they also got contracts, you know, but that was more like NASA. It's more of like a product. It wasn't like direct funding. Does that make sense? But, you know, it's kind of the same. I guess Elon Musk just doesn't care. Like I was just saying, hey, you need us. If they took out like Sergey Brin or Larry Page, the founders of Google, Elon Musk is a huge celebrity. And if he's like a Steve Jobs character, the guys from Google, not so much. I guess they were like 10 years ago, but not anymore. Elon stays in the spotlight, which makes him kind of like, okay. Well, and he's, again, really unique. He like this stuff he does with SpaceX, how much money he has. So maybe he just has this thing where he's just like, yeah, the government helped me out. But, you know, but it wasn't so direct. It was more normal. Like NASA gives a lot of people contracts like that. The CIA, not so much. Not for like this type of stuff that Google was trying to and Facebook were trying to do. SpaceX is more of, you know, they do space. Who does that? How are you going to get another one of those? Right? So very interesting stuff. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.